All right, should we get started, Dario?
Yes, sir. Ready.
Great, and I see Tom is here also, so he'll be in a panelist piece, I'm sure, shortly. He's over on the attendee side. Hello, everybody. Thanks so much for coming. I just wanted to jump in at the beginning. I'm Mark Morris, and I'm the product marketer for the Pearson side of the partnership with NCCER. So really just to thank you very much for coming. We're super excited about this new product out, and we're super excited also to launch these webinars from NCCER, where you can learn a little bit more about sort of the updates, what's new, what's current, what's exciting about these. I'll be hanging around. I'll be able to see the Q&A. So if any of you need to contact your executive director at Pearson, just let me know. And at the end, we have several things as well that we'd like to offer for you to sort of take away free instructor resources if you'd like those. So just wanted to say hello, thanks for coming, and thanks for letting us partner with you, and let us know how we can help. Dario, over to you.
Thanks for that intro, Mark. So hey, everyone, instructors and other educational staff alike. I am Dario VanHorne, and I'm excited to be here with you today. I am a project manager with the product development team at NCCER, and I have been with the company now for about 2 years. So this Millwright program update is particularly close to my heart, since it's the first project I was assigned to when I joined the NCCER team. And well, my commitment to education has driven me to contribute as much as I can to the enhancement and improvements that we have made to this program. So I am here to discuss these with you, joined also by Tom Bruns. He's an experienced Millwright professional and a dedicated CTE teacher. Tom began his diverse career in agriculture and then transitioned into the Millwright craft after being offered training by his employer. He was inspired by family and the ability to spend more time with family to join in as a professional millwright. He has a degree in industrial millwright technology and many certifications, including the NCCER Master Trainer credential. So with a passion for teaching and training, Tom is with us today to share a little bit of the instructor insight into the new changes to the Millwright program. So for those of you who may not be as familiar with the organization yet, NCCER stands for the National Center for Construction Education and Research. It is a not-for-profit organization dedicated to the development of a safe, productive, and sustainable workforce in the construction and maintenance industries. It was established in 1996, and our primary mission is to provide world-class training, assessment, and certifications, as well as career development for craft professionals. What we do is we create standardized curriculum, and we provide portable credentials. And by doing this, we ensure that individuals can receive a nationally recognized, industry-endorsed education and training that enhances their employability and furthers their career growth. In this case, by supporting the millwright industry and others with skilled professionals, NCCER contributes to the long-term success and helps to build a strong foundation in the future of the crafts. So let's talk a little bit about the opportunity with the millwright field. So Millwright presents a wealth of opportunities for individuals seeking a rewarding career path. With the average age of millwrights currently at 46 years old, there's an imminent need for a new generation of skilled professionals to enter the workforce and fill the gaps as the reigning experts, which are you right now, look for retirement. Furthermore, job openings in this field are expected to increase by 9.9% in the next 10 years. So that indicates that there will be a strong demand for well-trained millwrights, which is a very optimistic look for job prospects. Last, according to the NCCER 2022's Construction Craft Salary Survey, the average pay for millwright is sitting somewhere around $68,000 a year, which seems pretty competitive as earning potential within the trades. By pursuing a career in Millwright, individuals can really secure a stable, well-paying profession while contributing to the growth and success of industry. So let's go ahead and share some of the changes to the Millwright program. If we can go to the next slide. Okay. Let's see. Oh, and just to confirm, the slides are being shown, correct? Everyone else can see them? Is that a thumbs up, Tom? Yeah. Okay, they don't show on my screen, so I'm only looking at Tom, and a couple of notes here. So appreciate that. So some of the changes with Millwright that we've implemented are to better align with industry needs and provide a little bit more comprehensive learning experience. The program, if you're familiar with the previous program, it was 5 levels, and we have moved over to a concise 4-level structure, which allows for improved efficiency in delivering the content. This is in response to many different educational systems that either have a 4-year or a 2-year program. So it's a little bit easier to navigate a structure that, shows you more or less what that breakdown should look like when being presented to the trainees. Another thing that we've been focusing on has been updating the curriculum to feature a lot more coverage of maintenance topics, as well as troubleshooting, which ensures that when trainees move into the working field where they will be, they'll have experience and the opportunity to handle real-world challenges that they will face. Last, we try to focus on the relevant job skills, refining the learning process to better prepare them for the career. So to accommodate institutions seeking more in-depth and specialized curriculum, we have added also about 100 hours of electives. So that gives you a little bit of flexibility and possibilities for customization according to whether you need a different amount of hours or you need a different skill set to provide for the needs of the industry in your particular region.
Hey, Dario, this is Tom. Do you mind if I jump in for a second?
Oh, please jump in whenever there's something that you need to contribute, Tom. Appreciate that.
Also, as one of the subject matter experts on the new curriculum, we debated a lot as a group, and that's why we decided to install more maintenance coverage. There are lots of jobs as construction millwrights, but there are also just as many jobs out there as repair maintenance millwrights working in different industries. So we wanted to give a broad sense for both areas, not just limit it to one side or the other. And then, like Dario said, going from 5 levels to 4 levels was very challenging. We can't put everything from 5 levels into 4 levels. So what do we keep? And that's where a lot of the electives came in. It's very good information. It's very useful information, but we had to cut something somewhere to go from 5 levels to 4, to be 100% honest with it also, and to identify with the apprenticeship programs and the 4-year apprenticeship programs and the 2-year programs, we needed to have that. So that's where some of that stuff comes in. But
thanks for that, Tom. So definitely valuable to have that instructor insight into what it looks like and then what it feels like to utilize the program. Can we go to the next slide with the training guides, readability reports? So one of the things that we strongly worked on to make this accessible to all different learning levels is making our content readable. We want to make sure that the way that we're presenting the content, it has a strong focus on the technical skills that these future millwrights will need, and that it doesn't become a reading test. We're not here to see how well they would do on the SAT or English language learning. We're here to test their potential for that technical skill and the way that they will do that or perform those tasks in the job force. So if you notice here, we target a readability of 8th to 10th grade reading level. And when scoring that through our systems, we got a rating of A. It does have several other reading testing reading ratings, if you're familiar with different set. So you can see where we stand in many of the different mods, and we've run all of them through this process to ensure that we are providing the best reading experience to all levels of learners, whether that is in middle school and high school, CTE educational program, or an industry-specific educational program. So now to the meat of the business, if we can go to the level 1 and the other levels content. So as you see here, the level 1 modules include these 6 modules alongside, if you're familiar with NCCER programs, core is always a requirement for the level 1 completion. So that this would be about 75 hours of content from the core, 75 hours of Millwright content, and then 10 hours of elective, which is field sketching, the last one that you see there in the list. We can go to the next slide. And that would be Millwright Level 2, which now starts getting into the little bit of the technical content that the trainees will need. And Tom, if you can jump in here, you can specify a little bit more about what are the relevant skills that the trainees are getting.
Sure. Looking at the screen there of level 2 modules, it was our opinion as subject matter experts, there is mathematics in every trade in every field out there. So to start off a level had to be with craft related mathematics that are going to be important no matter what skill set you're using. We tried to make these applicable to a lot of the field applications. And the example I give my students every year is, everybody's heard of the Pythagorean theorem. Well, now we try to describe it as the 3-4-5 method of making squares or making right triangles, sorry. But so yeah, that's where we started. Precision measuring tools is another huge component in the Millwright field. Taking measurements, measuring equipment, measuring the wear, measuring things like that. So that used to be in level 3. We moved it up to level 2 because we thought it needed to be incorporated sooner. Millwright power tools, again, to me, it's a foundational type item. People need to understand how to use these tools, how to use them properly and safely. As everyone that is probably on this phone call or webinar knows, safety is of the utmost priority in every industry out there. So that was another thing. Base plates, setting base plates and sole plates is the process of how we set equipment to start building equipment to have a level surface to work off of. So that is another foundational type thing that goes in the beginning parts of these. Rigging practices. Rigging is a foundational thing with how much equipment is lifted daily by different people. So oxy-fuel cutting, again, most of these I don't want to read all of these off to you because everybody can read the screen, but most of these are foundational. We did move introduction to bearings was in level 2, and then removing and installing bearings was in level 3. So we changed it to put them back to back together so that people don't lose that information, especially in an apprenticeship program where they go to school every January and then they come back to school the next January. And if you wait a year from introduction to bearings to go to removing and installing bearings, chances are you're going to have to repeat the whole information you learned the year before, or a lot of it. So we tried to do a lot of that, putting like topics together also to make things make more sense. And now I'm not sure, but isn't the craft related algebra and trigonometry, isn't that an elective in level 2?
That is correct.
And I don't know about the plasma arc cutting.
That's also, yes.
Those last 2 are electives, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So again, since we made it an elective, we thought about putting it up with oxy-fuel cutting, but since it's an elective, it's at the end. Again, some companies, some businesses are going to use a lot more plasma arc cutting than others. And so if that is your company or your area, you have the opportunity to include it. If you don't use it, then you don't have to teach it to get the certification. All of these electives are good information. I teach at Great Basin College. We teach a Millwright program in 1 year. So we will still do the craft-related algebra and trigonometry because it's a college course. And they should have that as a requirement to graduate college. But for some of the SMEs that talked about bringing people in from industry that hadn't been in a math class since I was a teenager, craft-related algebra and trigonometry was very hard and very cumbersome to try and teach. So we tried to balance it out for both industries, schools, everybody out there to make things work the best that they can. There's no perfect system, but we tried to try and take as many ideas into account.
Thanks for that, Tom. And yeah, like Tom mentioned, one of the strong ideas here was to make sure that we present a logical approach to the information that the trainees will have access to, both in order and in relevance to what they will be required to know when they're on the field. So let's go ahead into the next slide. Okay, and that would be level 3 of Millwright. Again, with each step or with each next level, they're getting a little bit more of the technical skills. The previous one, it was 175 hours with 37.5 hours of electives. Level 3 is also 175 hours with 37.5 hours of electives. And those electives include those last 3: troubleshooting and repairing pneumatic equipment, advanced mechanical drawings, and vibration analysis. We can go over to the level 4, and that one is my favorite to discuss because this is when the work gets real, and also the one that I remember a little bit more since it's the more recent one that we worked on. So level 4 ensures that the students receive a little bit more of that current and relevant training that they need. The big focus, or at least from my standpoint, the 3 modules that stand out the most are belt and chain drives, troubleshooting and repairing conveyors, and then preventive and predictive maintenance. These are skills that trainees will probably see listed in a job post. Belt and chain drives requires them to figure out how the installation processes and alignment processes are. It introduces them to the use of laser-based tools, also provides them with comprehensive information on drive belt types, identification, installation, tension adjustments, and measurement tools. With the troubleshooting and repairing conveyors, they are introduced to many safety practices, strategic approaches to repairing those conveyors, conveyor belt tracking problems, and then the corrections that they would implement, belt repairs, splicing hardware, and chain conveyor maintenance. And then with preventive and predictive maintenance, the module helps them go into both types of program. It includes discussion of tribology, lubricating oil sampling, testing, and then the 8 predictive testing and inspecting approaches that they can take when they're presented with a situation in the facility. So these skills will help maximize the equipment reliability, and that's mostly what Millwright would be required to do or perform. Go ahead, Tom. I see that you want to say something.
My main one and out of here was basic hydraulic systems and laser alignment, 2 that are near and dear to my heart. So, technology is getting better and better all the time, and a lot of alignments are being done with a laser mechanism laser tool instead of the dial indicator. But we wanted to leave the dial indicators in level 3 so people understand the process. And then we use the technology going forward in the future. So, and, you know, again, we could go through and debate which one's the most important, but all of them are important, you know, so were there electives in this one, Dario? I don't have that revision sheet in front of me.
Yes, sir. So the electives for this one are the maintaining and repairing turbine components. That you have crane safety and emergency procedures and crane communications. For the level.
Again, information that will be very beneficial to anybody who teaches it and is using that, but you know, some places are not going to be using some of the same technology. So that's why a lot of this stuff was electives at that point, to not force people that weren't using this type of thing to pass this to get a whole level certification. So
thanks for that, Tom. So definitely, yeah, we do try to present the trainees with the newest content they'll be seeing when they get to a job. So last but not least, and I can't give you a visual as of right now because this is currently in development as we speak, I am thrilled to mention that Millwright is getting the large craft treatment. As such, those of you who are familiar with NCCER programs, Millwright is getting NCCER Connect, which is an LMS that is associated with our program, specifically tailored for the use of instructors. The platform is designed to elevate the learning experience for the trainees as well as the instructors. And what they get is they get access to the virtual trade terms quizzes, concept checks, review questions, and a slew of videos that are associated for the most part with the performance tasks that the trainees will be required to perform, as well as some math content, which is typically some of the harder things to review with the trainees, or that they end up having questions about over and over again. Now the instructor gets that additional tool to help them get that review on their own time. So could we go ahead and look at one of these videos? And sorry, Tom, surprise. Tom was our major SME in the making of both the content and these videos. You'll get a chance to see a little bit of Tom explaining some of the concepts, and these are the videos that instructors would have access to. So when you share the screen, please make sure to activate the sharing of sound and optimize for video.
I'll just warn everybody, my wife tells me I have a face for radio, not for video. So just a heads up to everybody as you see some of these. So.
Let's see. Okay.
Sprockets is going to be very similar to aligning shivs. What we're doing, why we're aligning them, same reason as the belts, but with a chain and a sprocket, what we'll see, because there's metal to metal contact between there, we're going to get either wear on one side of the sprocket or the other, on either the drive or the driven sprocket, or we would look on the inside of the chain for any wear on the inside of either side. Especially in higher speed chains, that's going to be a very noticeable thing. But it would wear out our sprockets, and to get maximum life out of our sprockets and out of our chains, we need to align the two sprockets. So the first thing we would try, just to show you, the straight edge is not going to fit down in there with the gearbox in there on either side. So there's an obvious example, we can't use that. We could use the laser on here and do that, but we did that with the shivs. So we grabbed this opportunity to take the string line. We're going to pull the string line from that sprocket over there in a straight line across here and look for 4 points of contact. With this little small sprocket, it's very hard to get the last 2 points of contact over here, but we're doing the same process as what we were looking for with the shivs.
So pause for a second, please.
Right direction. When it turns that way, it's not going to catch.
So here, this is not the complete video. We're skipping around because it is a 7-minute video, and I don't want to, show you the entire thing. But The main feature that I want to highlight here is, number one, we're showing the process. Number two, we're showing what are the typical questions that the trainees end up having as they approach the process. And then the third thing that you're going to see, it's going to cut away into some of the math that is involved in the process. And as I said it before, it's not going to show you in this particular case the entire 7 to 10 minute video. We cut it down to like 3.5 minutes to more or less highlight the main components. So Avery, you can continue the video. Let's watch till the end.
The open end is this way. Setting the proper tension on a chain has to do all with the deflection or the sag of the chain. We look for anywhere from 2 to 4% in deflection on chains. The higher speed chains, the less sag, or the lower to 2% we get, the slower speeds we can go up higher and higher. We are going to go right in the middle of this application and go 2 to 4%. Halfway in the middle is 3%. So we do similar to what we did with the belt shivs and the belt tensioning. We go with our center to center distance, or our span, center of shaft to center of shaft. So we're going to take our measurement here, put our 1-inch mark at the center of the shaft back here, and we're going to come to 15.5 here, but with burning an inch, we're down to 14.5 inches.
But we've got a problem. Most rules are marked in standard fractions like 16ths. We've got to convert the decimal fraction back to a standard fraction. That's easy. To convert it to 16ths of an inch, hit multiply, enter 16, and hit equals. Round the result to the nearest whole number, 7. That means the sag should be adjusted to 7/16 of an inch. And that's all there is to it.
To check the actual sag, we want to go in the center of the span, and we're going to use any sort of straight edge up here just to have our distance there. And then we're going to push down on the center and measure how far that goes down. So I'm reading from the 0 mark, and we are at 7/16 of an inch. So our sag is set perfectly for this application.
Thank you for sharing that. And so I tried to highlight more or less what you get with each one of the processes that we went through with Tom, recording what the process looks like, what the objectives are, and in many cases, when there is math involved, what's the math breakdown, showing the trainees exactly what they would need to do to perform this on their own. Tom, do you want to add something to that?
No, the idea came about because of the pandemic. Because when the pandemic hit, so many educational places had to go with no contact or limited contact. So we as a team decided that the best way we could encounter or tackle this problem would be to make videos to help students and instructors understand how to do some of these things. And I think that's where the idea came from and started from, and kind of built from there, so to speak, with what we could do and what we couldn't do. And and big amounts of praise to the NCCER video folks. They did an amazing job of making me look good, so that again, the idea was to give some more. In the 3rd edition, there was very little help for the resources of the instructor. And we wanted to try and change that going forward to help instructors. And we're getting to a video society. How many students coming through schools nowadays don't watch videos on YouTube of how to do stuff? That's how they solve all their problems, so to speak. So to kind of fit in with that mentality, we wanted to do some of these things also.
Right. Thank you for that, Tom. So yeah, definitely driving innovation forward and hoping to approach the trainees with an environment, a learning environment that they are already familiar with and utilize for their own needs. So without further ado here, we reached the end. Would like to extend to you the opportunity to ask questions in our Q&A section. And if you notice here on the screen, you have 3 elements that show. We welcome you to drop your name and email in the QA space, along with the number corresponding to your choice or choices, and we'll be happy to assist you further. So number 1, please put it alongside your name and email if you would like to receive an NCCER Connect instructor set to help you make the most of our training resources. If you'd like to learn more about what NCCER is and the programs that we offer, please enter 2 next to your contact info and enter number 3 for a free sample of the Millwright curriculum, and you can experience the content firsthand. So any questions? And I know Mark and the team are going through the questions or questions that have been proposed by attendees to make sure
no
that
questions here yet. Oh, there's one just coming in. Just to underscore there, if you do want the full instructor suite, as Dario was saying while you're writing questions, totally free, complimentary, whether your students are using NCCER Connect or not, we'll set you up with that. And same thing with the samples, all complimentary. We do have the question from James: when will the new volumes be available?
Okay, so James, to answer your question, the new volumes are currently available. They are out in the market. Everything is live. The only thing that is in process is the NCCER Connect, and that should be ready by end of summer.
We don't have any other questions coming in.
Okay, one big question that we typically get is the hours, since educational institutions depend on that a little bit to make decisions as to what they will how they will proceed with the programs. So as I said before, level 1 is about 160 hours total, including core and the electives. Level 2 and 3 are about 212 hours each, and level 4 is also about 207.5 hours total, including 47 hours of electives. So that gives you more or less the idea of what the program looks like. It's about 200 hours per level, more or less. You can build an excellent program from that. And well, I know that we went a little bit over, about 5 minutes. So in this case, if there are any further questions, you can please send us your contact and email. You can email us and reach out with any additional asks, or if something was unclear or you need to request something else for your institution, please feel free to contact us and we'll reach out with answers.
Thank you, everybody. We appreciate you coming.
Well, thank you, Mark. Thank you, Tom, for joining us today. I know you had a busy day as an instructor. Let you have the rest of your day back, and everyone else, thanks for joining us. Thanks for being interested in NCCER content, and we look forward to working with you in the future. Thanks, team, for the support. Have a great afternoon, everyone.